Are we back? Yes, we are back. This is the Dojo podcast, season 16, episode 4.
4 only.
Yeah, season 16, episode 4. It's just the two of us today.
Ke a bontate kajeko.
Des is adulting. Mbali is
Half adulting.
Walofa. Walofa.
Through no fault of her own, though.
Yeah?
Through no fault of her own.
Yeah,
Generally.
well,
If she wanted to be here, she'd have been here.
I think there's a case for her how can I say, for her to be put on trial.
Yes.
Yes.
Which she can also easily win if she knows how to.
Yeah, but I think that the odds would be against her in this instance.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyways.
Okay. Yeah. So this is adulting. I like how we don't even ask when a person says I'm adulting. Is he adulting?
No, yeah, because that's just
Yeah.
what do you call it? What's a swasa bali amfan?
These days.
It's just what comes with being an adult.
Yes. We become forgetful.
No, I'm saying the adulting bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's always something.
Yeah, there's always something. So it's almost like an umbrella word.
Yeah, there's always something.
So you don't have to say kilifu anymore. You don't have to say mwana
You
wetsang.
can't make it.
Yeah.
There's something.
There's some responsibility to take care of.
There's something, and
There's something, yeah.
even when there isn't something, there is something, because just sitting here alone, there's something that you're not doing.
Yes.
That you're supposed to be.
Yes.
There's something that you've put on hold.
Yes. Which is actually important to say because
At this very moment. Yeah.
meaning you are actually not pouring in your free time.
No, because there isn't such.
You are creating time to pour.
Yes.
You are creating time to pour.
Yeah. There isn't
Yeah.
anything as free
Yeah,
time.
it reminds me of, I saw this meme where somebody said, it was about adulting. They're saying something about, I thought growing up is XX, only to find out growing up is having multiple things happening at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just crisis mode.
Yeah.
Crisis mode. You've got a lot of tabs open in your head.
Which makes me wonder if all of us really appreciate that fact. And not appreciation from being happy or appreciating that something has happened, but appreciation
Making sense of it.
From like actually understanding the extent and the gravity of that statement. That there's a lot of things happening concurrently.
Yeah.
If each and every one of us in this adulting fraternity
Could appreciate that and grasp it.
like really appreciate and comprehend
Yes.
that fact. Like, for example, those that complain that you haven't checked on them.
That's the thought that was coming to me.
Those that complain that you didn't rock up for a funeral or a wedding.
Oh, yes. For Moketenyan.
Even the significant other that's complaining that you don't pay as much attention. Or there's certain things you don't do anymore. Or certain things that you refuse to do. Because you have these many things that are happening concurrently.
Yeah.
I feel like not all of us appreciate that fact.
Yes. I mean, I have a friend of mine who works out of the country, and she sent me a message. You are in town. Actually, Cape Town. No? This is like a very close friend of mine, Rabu, almost every day. But the way that life is set up, it's like we haven't met. We couldn't meet because even though she's in the country, she's en route to doing something. Lena, I'm busy with something.
Yeah.
But you would think, in an ordinary world, this is a person that's out of town. You would put everything just to be able to see them.
Yep.
But it's like, no, we are adulting. But yeah, man, adulting is, adulting is handling. Adulting is handling behavior or energy of money.
Explain.
Even the man you don't have has plans.
Yeah. See, and this is what I hate the most about being an adult. And I don't know if this is something that only happens to me, or this is a phenomenon that happens with other people as well. Every time I get a windfall, there's always something waiting to take
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Like it always seems to coincide with a certain problem I'm facing.
Yes.
So ke tlo thola windfall, koloi khathe.
Yep.
Ke thola windfall,
Ho hlahela lefu,
ho hlahela lefu.
ya motho a sa ho a kolekelwa. So that's exactly what I'm saying, hore.
Like there's always that
Yeah.
that thing. Like there's never a time where I just get a windfall.
Yeah.
Like this is just my money and I don't have anything to do with it.
Yep. Which is why, for example, that's why ke tshwantsha le adulting hore by mere fact of being an adult, there's always something that's going to happen that requires being taken care of. Even with money. Money, whenever it comes, it will always have something to do. Almost always. There's no time you'll ever have money and you can sit with it and say, you know what, ke sharp, I'm liquid.
Yeah. I think the happiness index has fallen drastically in the advent of capitalism. Because I'm thinking now, a lot of the problems that we have today, our forefathers didn't deal with.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about. They didn't have to worry about electric fencing or garden landscaping or a leaking roof. Well, maybe a leaking roof, but that was something you could fix yourself.
Yeah, yeah. It came with the territory, you know. It was not something in such a
School fees in arrears,
Yeah, you know.
Or car packed up.
Yep. And the funny thing is, concurrently we use capitalism. It's almost like the currency for capitalism is freedom. And you're like, we're not happy. Even this freedom, man, I don't think we are free.
In fact, you have the least freedom now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it's like the illusion. That's what I'm saying. Like capitalism is like the carrot that it dangled was happiness and freedom.
I was saying to a friend some weeks back that this is the longest period of time that humans have worked in human history. So let me put that in more simpler terms. The 8-hour day,
Yeah.
right? You're Monday to Friday, working 8 hours a day, resting, if you can even call it that, 2 days a week, is unprecedented.
How did it used to be before?
There were times of cultivation.
Or before the industrialization?
And before industrialization, like peasant populations had siestas. Like you used to be able to have times of leisure. And
Downtime.
rest.
Yeah, there was downtime because of.
You had downtime, and during the day too.
Yeah.
Even if we let me to
Dikgomo di a fula,
Yeah, and
ditjhoba
then,
le tse tsa sasfate da.
right, and you
Or
napping
you swimming.
hard.
Or you swimming. You swimming le ja ditadi.
You swimming, or there were periods of prolonged, periods of work. In fact, they weren't even prolonged because work was done by a large number of people.
Of people. So basadi ne bana le span sa bona, bana le bana le span
That
sa
little
bona.
titsapatsi, it's really something that would have taken the whole day.
Yeah, it's a morning activity.
Because le bangata.
Le bangata, yeah.
Le fihla le thetsa, le kgutle le patsi.
Yeah.
Or lo ya masimong fethu.
Yeah.
You could go to masimong. Le was saying while the sun is still
Yeah, by 11 le kgutlile.
by 11 le jikile.
Yeah.
Le fihle le kakalle le thoballe. And then ha re thapama mane he ke teng he me le se maybe bo mme se ba lokisetsa bo pheya di
Yeah.
tsa mantsibuya.
But the day was fairly even out.
Yes.
Not that. In fact,
Not like core.
also, I'm going to add another layer to what you are saying. This is also the time where we have to deal with a lot of what we call mental health issues. Anxiety, blah, blah, blah. Because back in those days, our work was very routine, predictable, requiring a lot of more of our physical intervention. Right now, capitalism not only does it use your body, but it overuses your mind.
Yeah.
So even now on a weekend, as a manager, that's why every time when you're a manager, they ask you what keeps you awake at night. So not only are you, although you are being paid for that 8 to 5, even the day that you call leisure, it's actually not leisure because your mind is still working.
So now the question is, without it, could we have brought about human advancement in any other way?
We wouldn't have, but here's what I would like to say. Did we even need the advancement? Because you only know what you know. Right?
We might have. Well,
or what price did we pay for it? Was it too high a price? So let's make an example. One of the, when it comes to like, let's say technological developments, maybe the two that come to mind for me is that transportation and communication. So the ability to be able to transmit messages quicker, right, through telephony.
That came at a large cost.
Yeah, right. But what I'm saying is that
same as transport.
Yeah. Also, if we did not have colonialism and all those things, we never have the need to deal with people overseas for the invention to be necessary.
But it was difficult for you to convey a message from one village
Even
to
from
another.
yeah, but
because that was a problem.
Yeah, but the world was not stopping. The world was not stopping. That was our model of life.
Yeah, but wars were fought inefficiently. Or you would find out that somebody died in your family a week later.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you'd get killed by wild animals en route to taking the message. You know?
And we only found out a month later.
Yeah. So some of those, were necessary, but I think some of them we paid too high a price.
Yeah.
I think we paid too high a price. But also, with technology, not only technology, I also think we are living in a world where there is too much information overload. We just know a lot about a lot.
Do you think that the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden is exactly this?
Yes. It's exactly that.
Because we have literally become...
Ignorance was bliss.
We have become gods.
Yes. Ignorance was bliss.
We have become gods. And you remember the conversation that we had about... what did we say? About divinity?
Science, divinity is a perfect science. I think
divinity is the perfect science. Yes. We said divinity
is the perfect science.
Is the perfect
we were
science.
Positing it, yeah.
Yeah, yes. Because before you could explain it scientifically, it was divine.
It was divine.
But the moment you are able to explain it scientifically, it loses its
sanctity.
Divinity.
Divinity, yeah.
But did it really?
No.
You understand? And so maybe our understanding of the sciences brought about our divinity, which was exactly what the forbidden fruit was trying to avoid.
Say that again?
So our understanding of the sciences is what brought about our divinity. We were able to tap into things that should have been beyond human understanding.
Okay, yes.
Right?
Yes.
But now that they are not, we have now become like God.
Yes. To the point of, for example...
Which has brought about a certain arrogance in us. So maybe Mudimu Nagabatla, when we were still simple creatures, whose only concern was Melao Arifilenyona.
Yeah.
Which was to live off the land.
Yeah.
And take care of it.
Yeah.
And preside over it.
Yeah.
Remember what happened when there's a Bible story. I don't know the specifics, but this community of people, they were building a temple or a tower, and they wanted to build it so high that it reached the heavens. And I think at some point, and then this about fihlile hodimo haholo wa bona modimo a ba wa fa dipuo tse fapaneng hore ba se kgone ho utlwana,
So that this project doesn't go ahead.
so that this thing doesn't go ahead.
Yeah.
Those are the technologies.
Yeah.
Do you remember that story in the Bible?
Yeah, I can't remember it
But I
verbatim.
don't remember the specifics, but
Yeah.
they were building a tower or a temple, and
Yeah.
then Ababa fetola dipuo. He gave them different languages, yeah.
So that ba ska utlwana.
Yeah, so that they can't communicate.
In fact, when I was coming here, I was thinking exactly about that. I can't remember what was making me think about Molao. It's like the topic that we were having when we were setting up, when I was saying, do you see in that scenario we were talking about, I was like, if we use science and capitalism and we implanted it in that scenario that we were talking about, that we can't talk about on air, where it can say, if I use financial muscle, even physical strength, this nigger has got no reason to bow down to this one. Ne? Empa ka moetlo le molao wa setjhaba, right? This nigger is able to be afforded respect that goes beyond money or even physical strength,
Yes.
because that's how you build a nation.
Yeah.
Ka molao. So now what we've done is that because of capitalism, we have then ascertained hore nentse ko hlompha wena ka baka la molao, but actually realize I now have tools that can make me either disobey you or even topple you.
Or be subservient to me.
Yes, yeah, that's why I'm saying topple you.
Yeah.
Then you see what I'm saying? And I think that's where, that's why how to ba moral degeneration ha re sana molao. So for example, let's take things like childbirth, where maybe rona ne re re molao ne le hore you shouldn't be engaged in this thing until o nyala. Then molao o no re, if you do engage in it, then it must force the marriage. Then remember, no, science showed us hore re kgona ho entsha mpa. You see what I'm saying? It goes to what you were saying, which remember, got divinity. That's why we were then saying, even if one has a mistake, it's divinity. There was a divine philosophical explanation around childbirth.
Yes.
Then, with the advent of science, we were able to say, nah, fuck that shit.
It's just a fetus.
It's just a fetus and a sperm.
Fertilizing an egg.
In fact, not only that, we realized that we can actually make it stop.
Yeah.
Then, so this advancement came at the expense of molao.
That was the forbidden fruit,
Yes,
bro.
and every time, the next thing that enters is moral degeneration. That's what I'm doing.
Because you're God now.
Yeah. So Mudima iponing he. Yeah, so it's about like iponing until think about like, because actually we are talking about creation. It's about let's say like cars, like or electronics. Have you seen how we as people sometimes we know how to performance enhance certain things beyond the creator? Until they crack.
And even make them.
Yeah, and even make them.
Yeah, because we're cloning now.
Yes.
We are able to make food in labs.
Yep. We like now even most of the fruit and veggies in the things are not organic.
And there are certain species actually of food that we invented.
Yes, and also I was saying to somebody about how
and breeds of animals.
Yes. Yeah. For example, when we say to people, maize is not native to Bantus.
Yeah.
Right? But we've messed it up so much, not so much that we've accepted this thing, so much that we even say it's our culture. Right? Papa. Right? Whereas our staple should be sorghum.
Yeah,
right?
Sorghum, yeah.
So for example, let this thing
even wheat is not native to us.
So but because of foreigners, this cross-pollination of people, to the point where I even believe that even eating things out of season is probably not good for us.
Okay.
There's a reason nature gives us certain things around a certain season. But because of capitalism, we now preserve an avocado to be available throughout the year. And then when you actually look at...
And I can eat a mango in winter.
Yes. So when you actually look at seasons and the medicinal properties that fruit and vegetables have, right? Well, there's a reason why citrus has to be eaten at a certain time. Because it may quell off certain things around that weather environment at the time.
And because there's a scientific explanation about it does not mean that it's not divine.
Yes.
Because it was.
It was.
Because there was a reason.
There was a reason for it. But so,
which makes me then think that whatever it is that God does, né? Or whatever higher being there is out there, whatever it is that he does, it's never out of thin air.
Yes. Yes.
And that's why we can always explain it scientifically.
Science. Yes. Even though sometimes there can be a limitation to that science, but there is a science to it.
Yeah, I like that you said that, because it doesn't mean that the only reason that we are unable to explain it from a human perspective only speaks to our lack of development in the sciences.
Yes. And the science, we keep pushing the envelope.
Yes.
Yes, because things we couldn't explain 20 years ago, we are able to explain them today.
Yeah.
And things we can't explain to our kids today, they'll be able to explain to their kids.
Yeah. We are God, yeah.
Yeah, so we are creators.
And the more this happens, the more you understand why we are made in the image of.
Of course, yeah. And also, that's why I'm a firm believer in. So I think I'm a firm believer in Sipiri. In a sense, people need to know in so much as their capacity to comprehend allows. That's why Katung, Bana, even though they are human beings, there are just some things that kids are not supposed to be burdened with. So we shouldn't burden people with the truth sometimes. And sometimes I think that's what scientists tend to do, right?
Because if you don't know, you die. That's the problem.
And maybe there's nothing wrong with death.
Maybe, I was about to say that.
Maybe there's nothing wrong.
Like, is there really? What's the issue?
It's like, for example, so let's think about, the concept of reincarnation, whether you believe in those things, the day that you were conceived and you had to come to the world is ordained or is divine, right? So what does that say about an obsession with prolonging life even when we think somebody is dying naturally?
Because other species that did not have, all species have an obsession with preserving life.
Yeah.
But then they preserve life in a way of procreation. Uh-huh. They don't necessarily place that much stock in the avoidance of death.
Because
they don't have the mental capacity to do so.
Yeah.
Right? They try and be cautious and stay away from danger and things that may potentially cause death. Mm-hmm. But there isn't a concerted effort to preserve the life of the herd or like the way humans do. Mm. But it's because of that reason that animals have become extinct.
Yeah.
Meaning, without the knowledge that we have today, that could very well have been a possibility for us.
Yeah, so it goes back to what I'm saying. So with the concept of reincarnation, so meaning, could we look at an extinction as being something having served its life course? It did not have to live beyond. So the world this world keeps becoming more miserable and more miserable because we have held on to it. Maybe we're supposed to be in another realm.
Yeah, because the world now has to contend with a different animal. I was watching a documentary on Netflix saying that the planet has had 4 extinction level events. And I think the dinosaur one was the third one. And then there was an ice age one that obliterated nearly everything on planet Earth. But the dinosaur one was I think it was a meteor. But like all of these extinction level events are associated with like natural calamities.
Yes. It was not war between people, it was just natural.
Yeah, even before people were there.
Yeah, yeah.
But there have been some species that have been able to live on or through these calamities, right? Like birds, for example, when flooding.
Because naturally they are.
So like they could reach higher ground.
Yeah.
And or certain like subterranean species could live beneath the ground.
Beneath the
where
ground.
certain things were happening on the surface.
Got you.
Like some of those species have been able to live on. There's hardly any calamity right now that could befall us.
That can wipe all of us out.
No.
Yeah. They are saying the only
Because of our technological
Advances.
advancements, the only way you could kill us is to blow up the entire planet.
Yeah, that's why they are saying, Hore, the threat of nuclear weapons, if there was to be an all-out war, nuclear. I also was watching another podcast that says we now have, with the countries that have nuclear military power, if they were to be at war, you can wipe out 70% of the population in 40 minutes.
And even then, the human race would still survive.
Yeah, you still have some niggas surviving there.
That's the point that I'm making.
you still have some niggas
Even then, the human race would still survive. Because there are certain societies that do have measures against nuclear warfare.
Yeah, man. Trying to make
notwithstanding the radiation that comes with with nuclear warfare, but humans would survive.
Yeah, because humans have also survived the pandemics.
Because humans are not sitting ducks. We are a very resourceful species.
Yeah.
We're not like animals.
Animals, yeah. We've got we've got intelligence. We've got intelligence.
And that's what makes us parasites.
Yeah. Intro, that was supposed to be an intro.
Anyway, man, how's been your week?
It was hectic. No, it wasn't hectic. It was okay. I was just doing some marking because I do some marking for some school.
Okay. Do they pay you?
Yeah, it's little money. I actually don't even do it for money.
Okay.
I just do it to keep my mind fresh.
All right.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you mark?
I mark business management, marketing, business ethics, and design thinking.
For which school are you allowed to say?
I don't want to say. I'll tell you off air, yeah.
Okay.
Because can I know about this? I agree as dome is guys.
And about
the writing.
Down, bro.
Yo. And it's because it's a business school.
Yeah.
So you know academic writing. Email or corporate.
Yeah.
And when it comes to academia, they frown upon that shit. So you have to write in an academic sense. You can't say though. In an academic, though I agree, it's although. You know that type of
that's why in such cases, you just got to use AI, man. Yeah. I'm not going to fucking...
There's an AI. They've introduced AI detector.
No, but even then, they're my ideas.
Yeah, but...
that's what I was saying in previous episodes, that I will write something down.
Yeah.
Right? I will write something down. And then I will ask the AI to put it in proper English.
Yes. Actually, that's another good point because... You
won't catch me out for that.
Because what happens is that even with AI, or I think we in big part as the world, we still want to reward hard work, not necessarily smart work, right? We just pay lip service to it. So, for example, the world is not ready for people walking in at 9 kaofela bona, ne? And one walking out at 11 say, but I am done.
Yeah.
Right? Then one say, I'll be done at 1. I'm done at 2. Right? Because now we need to create a certain level of uniformity around just how we devised remuneration, right? So that's another thing as well that we are slowly coming to terms with. Actually,
we are not.
Yeah. So look at AI. If AI is a tool, it still does not replace the thinking.
No, it doesn't. I was saying that. Well, there's two things that I wanted to say. Firstly, with my studies, right? I can't imagine how difficult it would have been to study this degree without AI. Like, I found myself at a point where I'm able to work through a chapter far faster
because you can summarize it
than I was able to when I was going to varsity and still retain the main most important
takeouts. Yes,
in a chapter using AI.
Yes,
I can just enter a whole chapter into AI and ask it to summarize it for me.
Yes. And what is the key message of this?
Yeah, and I have it. And when I get to a test, those are the points that will actually get you the marks.
Yes.
And you are able to interact and debate on those facts.
Yep.
Though I still read the chapter.
Yeah.
But when it comes to summarizing, I use technological tools to help me study.
In fact, textbooks shouldn't be getting thicker and thicker.
And they are.
They are getting thicker and thicker because...
the other one, what were the point that you said now?
Yeah, it can't replace thinking.
Yes. So the other one, I was also telling a friend that, well, a colleague, because he was saying that, AI and some of these technological advances do have the capability of replacing human beings. Then I'm like, okay, it's a fair point, but then I gave him an example of how I built a website. So I'm not a coder, right? And I don't have like any web development skills. So I use AI.
Yes.
I use AI to help me come up with certain
bring your thoughts to life
solutions. So when I was, for example, when I was building the polling system
for the Y2K promo,
for the Y2K party, right? The page that comes up and the buttons and the flyers and the buttons that lead to the polls and the button that leads to the ticket site, like that's not a standard template that comes on Shopify.
Yeah.
I had to build that.
Yeah.
I'm not a coder.
Yeah, but you used AI.
Right? I used AI.
Yeah.
But then now the problem is, or this is where the difference lies, right? So I went to AI and AI gave me lines and lines and lines and lines of code that I don't understand.
Okay.
But know how to apply because I'm a technology worker.
Okay.
Right? If I gave those lines of code to Tabang,
I wouldn't know what to do with them.
Would not have known what to do.
Because that's not my line of work. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now it didn't render me redundant.
So it will actually sift out the nonsense that did not belong there.
Yes.
That's what it will do. That's what it will do.
The only way I would have been able to apply what that AI gave me is because this is what I do for a living.
Yes.
Even though I don't code.
Yes.
But I know.
You are technologically inclined. You are in the field.
Yes.
You are in the field.
And that's the reason why I take care of most of this stuff.
Yes, you are in the field.
But if I gave that to someone else wouldn't know what to do with this thing.
Yes. Because I know even in advertising or marketing, one of the things that, let's say, there's a brief that when we are in marketing that we write to the agency about to refine an idea. So we will say, this is the business problem we are trying to solve, and we want you to interpret it creatively.
Yeah.
Right? But some of those things, AI is now being able to replace them. But what it does not replace is that how we are thinking about the solution or the problem.
And you see, and the quality of the responses that you get from the AI
as a result of your input.
Yes, is as a result of the quality of the questions that you ask.
Yes. Goes back to what we were saying, because there was a time when we were having that argument, but when Mutlati was here, why people get paid differently. So some leaders, you see, when you manage a team, one of the things, someone was saying, I can't remember one of these business leaders, they always want to have somebody lazy in the team. They want to have somebody that's talkative in the team. Mm-hmm. They want to have somebody that's quiet but is technical. Because he was like saying, in a team setting, while you might look at this person in isolation and think that's a negative thing, he says a lazy person will know the quickest way to do something. but what you need to, the cushion for him is that you also need a technical person.
Yeah, but the worst thing a lazy person can be is not smart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or he can say, sometimes you can have people that are smart, but they are not, like people are scared of speaking in public, bro. They just are scared of speaking. Then you need to get somebody that can articulate.
Yeah.
Or sometimes there are people that are slow, but because they are slow, they tend to ask more questions. To the point where other people are like, no man, we get it. But the more they actually ask this question in a different way, and like, only then maybe can something land.
The more insightful it becomes.
Yeah, the more insightful it becomes. So sometimes, that's the thing, Hore. Sometimes even with these tools, you need to ask them the right question, or you need to frame something in a correct way for it to give you the...
Because sometimes you might think you know something and not ask the question, and the person that's slow on the uptake asks the question, which prompts a response that actually lets you know you didn't know as much as you thought you did.
And then it changes the entire design of the thing, the solution.
Yeah.
Which is the business case, by the way, for diversity. Hore, you need to have a female in the room. You need to have the black person in the room. You need to have a person in a wheelchair in the room. Because you can find yourself having built something, but you're only looking at the lenses that reflect your own life. So label AI, that's the thing. You need to, the quality of the output is dependent on the input.
Yeah.
And you will see like machines and artificial intelligence, what it also does, it exposes a lot of I wouldn't necessarily call it inefficiencies. So for example, I think there are roles that are inefficient, but we still need them, like petrol attendants.
How do you say we need them?
We need them because, I think in a society, the gap between the haves and have-nots, especially in South Africa, is that there are things we feel like I'm saying, like cashiers can easily be replaced, petrol attendants. But the thing is, when you take them out, what you are now doing is that you are increasing the profitability of the station because it no longer has overheads.
Right.
But because the business is owned by few people, so let's say now I'm the garage owner. So what it will simply do is that it will increase my disposable income as the business owner. But then in the economy, because I used to share that money with 10 people, there's a level at which the economy might suffer.
So you're talking from a socioeconomic perspective.
From a socioeconomic perspective.
Yeah, but in real terms, we don't need them.
That's what I'm saying. But in real terms, what then technology does shows you is that, yes, there are people that can be replaceable simply because we have been so inefficient in how we've been rendering that service. But to save it, we then overlaid with the socioeconomic need for it.
Yeah.
But technologically, there is no need for a petrol attendant.
No.
There is no need for a train to be driven by a human being.
Even besides technology-wise, I mean, it's not a specialized skill.
It's not a specialized skill, yeah.
To take a pump and stick it into the tank.
Yep.
I can do what he does. You just need to put in controls to make sure that I don't steal your fuel.
Yeah, so you can either tap and pour.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. A lot of times when technology comes, like we were saying, what it now does, that it does not replace the need for fuel. You see, that intervention, you will still need fuel.
Yeah, but that's the one, and we're going to crack it. But one of the source of energy, I think source of energy is the one thing that holds us back. And it's the one concept, or maybe not one concept, amongst many concepts, that sci-fi movies are
very obsessed with that. Yeah.
obsessed with. Because if you look at a lot of the sci-fi films that have come out in the last 50 years, in the last 50 years, no?
Mm-hmm.
You will see that a lot of the things that you see in those movies, not even 50, how long has it been?
Nigga, you haven't even alive for 50 years.
How long have we been making movies? Is it 50 years? Maybe 100? Maybe 100 might
In terms of the history of movies, maybe
a
60,
little over
70,
50,
yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
50, 60, yeah. A lot of the things that you've seen in those movies are things that later became invented.
Yes.
It's almost like an imagination.
A preemption.
Or a fantasy
Yeah.
of where we would like to see human advancement going.
Yes, yes.
But the energy one is still one that still hasn't been.
I mean, you can see even our exploration of space and life at Mars.
That's the only thing that keeps us back.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's holding us back
Yeah.
right now from exploring the universe in its entirety. It's energy.
Yeah, discovering other, like
It's
powering rockets that can stay for longer periods in the orbit.
You need fuel.
You need fuel to sustain it,
Yeah, you need fuel.
you know?
And right now, our fuel technology can only take us so far.
Yeah. So you need that. Even jet fuel is you need something that can replace jet fuel.
Yeah, like I don't know, a substance of some sort
or traveling at the speed of light.
that generates
Yeah.
enough energy
Yeah.
for you to be able to travel perpetually.
Even production of factories
Yeah.
running on petroleum.
So that's if we were able to crack nuclear energy,
Yeah. Some of these things, I think what ends up happening is that the way we push the envelope, I think some technological advances are there. It's like almost in medical, but the business case for making them mainstream does not hold because we still have an architecture of an economy that's still based on this thing. You know, it's like when people say, man, we think we've probably long cracked the healing of a lot of maybe diseases like HIV/AIDS, but sometimes it's not in the best interest of the world economy to kind of reveal it. Because big pharma is still...
not the world economy, capitalist greed.
Yeah, you know, body cancer, body ing, like especially these like herbal ways of treating it as well. That you see that whole science and divinity thing goes back to that thing. Sometimes the traditional way of doing things, you know, the herbal way, we had to go and prove it scientifically. Whereas because of X.
Yeah.
But because of science, the development of medicine had to prove it scientifically first. And that's why, like, you find that the gatekeeping of certain treatments, they will always say, no, it does not approve of the SABS standard or whatever the case might be. That is because we want to still make science the gatekeeper of truth, you know?
Yeah.
So I think even in energy, I think maybe there is advances we've made, but it's not in the best interest of capitalism in its current architecture for it to be explored.
Catch the rest of this episode on Patreon.
The next one to overtake crude oil.
I forgot to mute Mbali's voice on this thing and it just came on. But anyways.
The crude oil, like this whole shale gas, it's been found even in the Karoo. Apparently.
What gas?
Is it shale gas? Maybe it's a shale.
What does it do?
Well, I think it will do whatever crude oil does as a source of energy. The fracking, they've been calling it fracking. Or if they drill down, there's like gas deposits.
Okay.
In South Africa, they said it's in the Karoo.
So it's not oil, it's gas.
It's gas, yes. It's gas that can kind of like...
It's a source of energy.
Yeah, which will reduce the reliance on oil.
Catch the rest of this episode on Patreon.
The Dojo.